Hey, thanks, taxi. I know I'm supposed to tip you and all, but I only got quarters. Guess who's back again. And I got a new video. Oh, shit. Oh, my aching head.
Well, look who's here. Back at it again after 2 months, huh?
You ain't gonna fucking believe it, Marissa. I made this video about how this mod called Overcharged is actually Kino and it's hated and misunderstood.
Didn't you see the news? The Overcharged devs put malware in the game. You gotta go back there and fix it now!
Fucking hate this. This is fucking retarded. I fucking fuck. That's correct. I spent 3 weeks out of the 2 months that I've been gone just making this 30-minute fucking video that I've had to constantly redo, remake, do all this, and it's fucking annoying. But, more importantly, now, just tonight, as I was, making this all neat and clean polished, something came out, and that is the fact that the Overcharged devs came out and supposedly through the power of Steam ID finding, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, they have purposefully made it so that specific people, YouTubers being the primary subject, are not allowed to play their games because of a certain BAT file or DLL file or something. I'm not some computer guy, okay? But it's something like that, and that is by far retarded. Now, I'm going to go say here, I do kind of, glaze, as the kids would like to say, this game a little bit, because, sincerely, this is one of my favorite mods. But, now after finding out about that, and that now, it's been taken off of ModDB for the reasons I just said, it is now permanently shot itself in the fucking foot. Now, I still genuinely enjoy the idea of Overcharged, but for now, I'm going to go save that for a video that I'm going to go put out in 2 weeks. For right now, this video, I already got it done, and to be honest, I don't want it to go to waste. But I still do really like the mod, I just fucking hate the devs. Cool? Alright, see ya. January... something... 2022. I was sitting in my room, maybe sometime around the 1 to 2 a.m.s, and I was unemployed, bored, and most importantly, frustrated. I was going through YouTube and then I saw this. Half-Life 2 Overcharged official trailer. I clicked on it, and holy shit, I was fucking jumping out of my seat, fucking rock hard boner in hand, and I was like, holy shit, this looks fucking cool. Now, whoa, hold on there, buddy. Now, I know what you're saying, but Snoy, why is it that all I hear is just Overcharged sucks, Overcharged, overhyped, you keep saying. Well, you see, to say people fucking hated Overcharged is kind of like saying Pearl Harbor wasn't that bad. When I say people hated this, I mean people fucking hated it. People claim that this was ruining the art style, that this game right here is the sole reason why we shouldn't have modding at all, and that they shouldn't ruin this perfectly good game. Correction. They only are cool with it when Valve endorses it. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, while I was working on this video, I'm sure most of you, even the ones who aren't Half-Life fans, have heard that they pushed out the anniversary update for Half-Life 2. And with it, not only did it break a lot of mods, but it included the almighty workshop. So, not only as a sorry for my long absence, but also as another building block which kind of proves my point, I will be covering the anniversary and the workshop and kind of why I don't like it and why I kind of just don't like the Half-Life community overall. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This video is going to be a little long, a little rambly, and, you know, if you already know what Overcharged is, good. I made it my goal to go try and add that chapter system that YouTube has, to go structure this video so people can just skip to the part they want to, or, you know, I get it, not everyone has the fucking time of the world to go sit here and watch these, you know, little gay rants. Let's structure this. What is Overcharged? The Half-Life 2 Anniversary and Workshop, the Dick Riders, and Half-Life YouTubers. Pop that cork, because it's going to be a long fucking video. Now you might be asking, what is Overcharged? It's been a couple years since the entire fiasco happened. Some of you may just forget, and maybe you just weren't around at that time. So I'll give you a very big TLDR. Think of it like Smod, if you know about that mod, but instead of it being full of, Gary's Mod toy box-esque weapons, and it just kind of being a very weird amalgamation of just, like, whack shit, I guess you can say, like throwing scissors and other weird shit. This tries to be a bit more grounded, as it just stated with the Zen X, and on top of that, you know, the new Combine, blah blah, yap yap yap. Man, this is some fucking bullshit. Put me back down there. What the Yo, what the fuck? Yo, no, take me back. Are we not gonna question that? That was cool as shit. That went hard. What the fuck? Like, for example, there's bull squids that are back, there are hound eyes, and a ton of other shit. One of my favorite fucking features about this mod is just that it's not trying to be a joke. You know what I mean? I feel like Half-Life 2 has a lot of mods, campaigns, whatever, that just are jokes. You know what I mean? This mod doesn't really do that, you know? I think everything here is fun, and I think a lot of people will agree that one of my biggest problems with Half-Life 2 is just that there wasn't anything that Half-Life 1 had that made it great, which is you had a severely neutered arsenal, you don't have a lot of these fun different enemy types. You know, I can make a whole video about that. With this mod, it adds all of it. Let's talk about the good before we get to the bad. There is so much praise I have to give to this mod that I could spend all day talking about it. So, let's do this quickly. I like the weapons. I absolutely love all the weapons that they added, and I genuinely enjoy that they brought back even that teleporting gun, you know, that you get from Opposing Force. I love that they had those alien weapons from Opposing Force 2. I really like how they just add simple guns, you know, like I think they added a port of the Beretta from CSGO, or at least that's the model. Same thing with the M4. You can take off the fucking airboat gun, which I think is cool as shit. They added all these cool weapons. It's really just beautiful and tight. A lot of the enemies is also very sweet too. Like they added the removed Hydra, if you remember from that very, very early fucking 2000s trailer with Alex and that one Combine and, you know, the shit that didn't make it into the game. On top of that, there are also these little secrets that you can find. Like there's one, I think, in or after sort of Ravenholm when you're leaving it, and you can find new equipment and like items and shit. It's very secret heavy, kind of like what Smod is. So it encourages you to actually explore it instead of just being like, oh wow, would you look at this? It's another box. It's gonna have fucking med kit. Meh. You get kind of rewarded for it. You get more weapons and shit. And that's kind of it, you know, I've said it multiple times now. More. It just gives you more tools to play with and more enemies to fight. Now, the footage you're seeing here, I have to make it clear there is an options menu, just like an MMod, you know, if you played that, just like with Smod. It's a total overhaul that changes how this game works, but you're still playing the same campaign, and I love it. In the footage, I'm playing something called, it's like Nightmare or Hell, or I think it was both at one point, and it just doubles the spawn rates. It just makes it a fucking chaos kind of mod, and that's a beautiful, beautiful mess. So on top of that, it adds visual improvements for those of you who care. They do new reanimations, and that's something that fucking this game needs, because I'm sorry to tell you, but whoever tells me that Half-Life 2 had good animations, even for its time, can fuck off. Overall, it's great. But, as I'm sure a lot of you who know of Overcharged know, the problem a lot of people had with this game is that it was fucking buggy. It would crash every fucking level. It would constantly have visual glitches. Like, I think one time when I was playing it back, like, you know, 2021, whenever it was released, I dunked my head in some water and all I saw was the fucking Counter-Strike Source missing texture. There was just so many bugs going around, and even today, there still is some bugs, like the Hydra that'll just fucking, like, a Gmod ragdoll onto the ground. This mod is by no means perfect, right? And the part that I don't like that the community does is that I think that they genuinely painted this mod in such a terrible, terrible light. This mod does so much fun shit just for the sake of it, you know? And it got shat on because it was just too ambitious of a goal, which, yeah, I mean, I get it, it's ambitious, and they're only like, what, like 10 devs? And seriously, props to them. This is no easy feat. This is genuine ingenuity right here. Nowadays, it's a lot different. It is way more polished, but yes, it still does have problems. Before we, clown on some retards here, I want to make something clear just for, the bonus aspect, and because this kind of proves my point a bit. You seem to have a lot of purists in the Half-Life community where if you even remotely try to go change anything about the game, even in like a creative manner or just something that's non-lore accurate, your ass will get fucking punted to the goddamn side of the curb. As I stated earlier, it's only acceptable if Valve allows it. So what do I mean by this? Well, with the 20th anniversary they came out, they added the workshop. And as you can see by this guy, don't worry, we'll get to him shortly. But this dude seems to think that this mod is just here for a joke, just a troll, something like that, right? But what's really fucking stupid is that has this guy not seen the community that Valve has, even the Half-Life 2 community? I'll go more and more in depth with, covering him and some other guy later. But let me just show you something. And this is from the workshop. We have a Markiplier as the citizens. You have the Moai Thumper. And the WhatsApp Gordon Equalizer. Not funny. Sincerely not fucking funny. And look, I respect modders no matter what work you do, whether it could be a fucking campaign, whether it be a reskin, just whatever, even if it's a fucking meme. I respect that. I'm sure that takes some kind of work, even if it's the most smallest shit ever, like just a simple like fucking, I make something green. But there's one thing I just can't fucking stand, and that is the workshop. See, when the workshop was added, I was expecting this to kind of deliver what sucks about me having to install an entire modification. What I wanted is that can I get a mod that just adds some new weapons into the game? Some mods that might add some new different classes to the Rebels or to the fucking Combine. Is there a mod that can just add other levels in between it, or do something like what Smod did, where you had these little side quests of like, oh, what happened to my boat? Where's my car? That kind of shit. But no, unfortunately, I don't know if this is a workshop thing, or I don't know if this is just the people who are modding the workshop. But what pisses me off is that they would rather just go over here and make these shitty, unfunny fucking memes instead of just legitimately actually adding content that is worthwhile. And again, no disrespect to the people who uploaded these 3 examples here, okay? Every contribution counts, but holy fuck, this is not why I mod, and it kind of just pisses me off. And while I was recording this video right here, I already came across several other videos that are just, ruining the Half-Life 2 campaign with mods!
I guess there's always silly mods! Chickens with boxing gloves! Why are there chickens? And why are they boxing me? This is just fun. This is cool. Not too serious. Just having a lot of fun.
Red team suck? God damn it, defend your...
It's like, dude, this is so fucking lame. How many times am I going to go see the same mods of just, Shrek Tank, or, whoa, I added an anime girl to Half-Life, that's crazy. Like, it's just not interesting. And that's my take. And last thing before we, really start digging into the entire thing about fucking Overcharged here. This isn't even just a Half-Life 2 workshop problem or like a modding problem. I would go as far as just saying it's the entire fucking Valve community, and to some extent just the modding community in general. But I don't want to go to that scope. I'm going to go keep it easy and say it's the Valve community. If you go to the Left 4 Dead workshop, it is just as bad because it's had more and more time to fucking ferment and rot. And everything's either just a stupid fucking meme or a stupid ass reference to some other thing. And even if you were to go to like the CSGO or the TF2 workshop, the one that actually isn't, for modding and more just fucking profit, it profits off of fucking references and shit, and it's just, oh my god, it just irritates the shit out of me, just what the fucking workshop has really become. What used to be a really, really cool and interesting place for modding, like what Skyrim and This is an old head reference. Fucking Unturned used to do, where it was actual like new shit. Now it's just, God, it's just so gross to fucking look at. It's such a tragedy. Alright, let's get into the real meat and potatoes. So, the first video we'll be looking at is by Radiation Hazard and his Half-Life 2 Overcharged mod review. Yeah, nice 2017 thumbnail, buddy. This is doing numbers on Reddit. We're not going to be watching the entire video, but there are a few timestamps and some notable things he says, and this is kind of the thing I'm talking about, where I feel like some people are legitimately disconnected between this mod and, I guess, their understanding of what a mod is, but he says this in the video.
We pick up a M92 Beretta, and honestly, this looks so different. I mean, the theme, or aesthetic, or design, the style, that's what I'm trying to talk about. Like, notice how the pistol has a different style than the Beretta. Like, visually, these both models, and actually the rest of the models, look so inconsistent with each other. Like, the pistol and the rest of the native Half-Life 2
Let me just say about this style thing. Personally, I don't really see much of a beef with this. I know what he's talking about, where you can very clearly see the difference between these two, because the Half-Life 2 pistol has a certain shading and kind of like more, what's the word, like kind of plasticky kind of texture to it. It's a little hard to describe, but I get what he means. But brother, that point makes no fucking sense when you say this.
mod that plops in a billion different things and calls it a day. I don't have any issues with mods like these, like Smod.
My man, are we forgetting the fact that Smod is literally like a joke mod filled to the brim with throwing scissors and this fucking PSP grenade thing and the grease gun from that Day of Defeat, that's what it's fucking called, from Day of Defeat and all that. Then they add all these other models and guns and shit, and you know, you have coins you collect. Like, it is so ill-fitting of not only the art style, but also the entire thing of like Half-Life 2. This will tie in more with like more of the other things he says, but again, keep in mind with like what I'm saying here.
It was kinda cool, and I don't know about the inclusion of Race X in this. It just feels off. I'd rather have different variations of head crab zombies or head crabs, but having an entirely new species as an enemy is kind of weird.
This guy is an opposing force denier. I don't really understand this complaint. It doesn't really hold any weight, and it kind of just makes no fucking sense, because he says there's like an entirely new race of enemies, which, like, I know what he means, like just added into Half-Life 2, but in this context, it still doesn't even make sense, because it's like, dude, what you would be fighting is just like zombies or something like that. You just fight the Race X aliens, and it's like, this doesn't really do anything. Like, it doesn't do anything like negative here. I don't even know what the fuck you're complaining about. He then says this.
Let's talk about Ravenholm. Right off the bat, we encounter a fast zombie. Do you remember the first time you saw a fast zombie in Half-Life 2? Do you remember how the game built up that moment when you saw it jumping across rooftops, howling and screaming while you shat your pants thinking, what the fuck is this thing? Well, all of that anticipation, gone in 5 seconds.
This point also just doesn't make any sense, because, so, this dude's channel, if you couldn't tell by the fucking profile picture, is all about Half-Life, so I'm gonna go off of the assumption that this dude has played Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2 way more than 5 times, something like that, right? The thing that doesn't make sense is the fact that he says, oh, well, that foreshadow of, like, the fast zombie doesn't make sense. But the thing about that is that, dude, it's a mod. Like you have to go out of your way, away from Steam, away from where Half-Life is, to go install it onto Half-Life to go get this new experience and all that. So why does that subtle foreshadowing of a zombie character that you've already fought multiple times beforehand, that you already know how it works, why does that matter? Right when you go into a level, oh no, a zombie attacks me, whoa, like, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
And you know what? Watch NoClick's video if you're curious how many weapons are in this mod, cause it's just absurd having this many weapons in the mod. In the original game, each weapon has a unique role. Here you have so many choices, it's just confusing. I'd prefer less high-quality looking weapon models than a bunch of too many mixed quality weapons.
But Rad, you can limit the amount of weapons in the set.
Shut! Okay? Just shut it.
So let me just get this fucking straight here. When someone gives you a answer to your problems, you just say shut up. Obviously this is like a very clearly a retarded fucking, like, this isn't even a rebuttal. I just think you're acting like a kid. But number two, the thing about this is that not only do I think that feature that he's talking about with the weapon limit, I think that was added there for, I mean, yes, his problem, but also number two, it's trying to be a fear thing. You know, have any of you played Fear? Are any of you even old enough to even hear that? Fear, for you classic FPS enjoyers, will understand that Fear had a weapon limit of 3. And what you would do is throughout the levels, you would kind of switch them. Like, you know, sometimes you'd be like, oh, I don't want the shotgun. You know, maybe I'm not getting too much ammo with it, or I'm not finding any use. How about I switch it for the SMG? Or how about I switch it for this, like, railgun spike cannon thingy that they had? You know what I mean? It's supposed to have, like, a star of the show for every single level and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying here? This video, I feel like, doesn't add up with a lot of things that this dude, like, it just doesn't hold any weight. It just doesn't make sense. So let me sit you here. Let me sit you down here, Radiation Hazard, okay? Look, I think the biggest beef I have with you is the fact that, you know, you said that you liked SMod and you played SMod, and SMod, by all accounts, is a weapon sandbox through in, through out. It gives you a fuck ton of weapons, all of which are different in quality, from different games, different ports, and it just doesn't make sense. I don't get what your beef is with this mod compared to SMod. And that's what I was bringing up with the you know, oh, you know, don't touch our precious game here. I think the fact that this mod did try to go use canonical elements of the game seemed to go really fuck with these people's minds. I mean, hell, even the fucking description of the mod had to go change because people weren't understanding it. And me reading it, well, I mean, it makes perfect sense, but I guess this is just one of those examples of people just, you know, media literacy makes no fucking sense. Modding literacy makes no fucking sense to these people. But anyway, I'm not going to go on a huge rant about the rest of this video, but there is one part that kind of seals the deal.
And if you like this mod or have fun in it, then more power to you, but I just can't. Maybe I just raised my expectations too much when I first heard about Overcharged. Maybe I thought this would be something that'll replace MMod or SMod, but at most it's just a bunch of Garry's Mod add-ons put into Half-Life 2, bundled as a single mod that crashes a lot.
I think that last take about what he said about Garry's Mod and into the Half-Life and all that, I think that's disrespectful. So allow me to do the most snowy thing possible and tell you a story. A little bit of snowy lore, if you will. Back in high school, I was playing Far Cry 4. It was one of the first times I truly ever played a game from beginning to end. And I was sitting there, bored out of my fucking mind. The entire central loop of Far Cry is just going to outpost, killing retarded-ass AI with weapons that don't really feel that good, and with boring, not very impactful, not very fun to watch story cinematic cutscenes. And I looked at my friend and said, why do you like it? And then he said everything I didn't like was basically what he liked about it. And then I looked at him and said, let me ask you something. If the entire gameplay is just outpost, and that's why people like this, then why don't I just go to Garry's Mod, make my own little, you know, outpost of my own on whatever map, download some actual smart AI with interactive tools like stealth and guns, and then just do that and I'll have a far better experience. And that was my opinion, until some amount of years later when I actually grew a fucking brain. That take was shit. And just like this, I think this take is shit. You want to know what I noticed? It's the fact that Far Cry 4, all Far Cries for that matter, simply have systems, feelings, and experiences you simply cannot make in Garry's Mod, because in a game like Garry's Mod, where it is a sandbox where you can make anything, it will never compare to the actual game it's trying to compete with, quote-unquote compete. In this example, let's take a look at Garry's Mod. Alright, look, I know this is going to make it seem like I have less weight to me, but hear me out, alright? I don't know if it was the new update or something, but I can't load any of the Half-Life maps, alright? So you're just gonna have to go deal with me here. That's not supposed to happen. Anyway, so let's assume, okay, let's just assume for a fucking minute, fucking, I don't know, in the Half-Life story, Gordon has to go to the fucking 7-Eleven to go get a glizzy for fucking Alex or something while he got fucked up by that antlion in episode 2, alright? Okay, so here's one of my biggest examples of like why you just can't recreate it, right? Okay, so I sit here, right? I spawn my weapon. Alright. I don't know what happened there. Alright, real shit. This is one of what I'm talking about, right? Don't mind the fucking textures here. I have no idea what's going on. Anyway. So let's just look at this, right? Okay, so I'm entering my mission, just gonna be opening this. Here I am. Dude, what the... Can someone pay attention to me, please? Please? There we go. What the... Dude, what the fuck? Alright, excuse me. I'm just gonna bleed out over here. Alright, cool. Oh, what's this? Oh, I don't have any of the weapons I spawned with, and I spawned all the way over here, right? Because typically in a map, you know, you don't just want to go all the way back to the fucking beginning. You want to go back to your last save, and then, you know, saving in Garry's Mod isn't the same way, right? You go here, and then you fucking... don't worry about that, but you save here and do that, and then do saves, and it's a whole nother thing, and it causes a lot of lag and other shit, right? Okay, here's another thing, right? Okay, dude. Oh, did you catch that? Oh, one more time. See it? Now? Do you see it? Do you see it? Spawn. That's what I mean. Oh, what's this? I can press V. Ooh, I go through the floor. Oh, what's this? I still have the fucking fizz gun, and then I have to go, not only do I have to go find a way to remove it, because I don't know if you can do that in base Garry's Mod, but I know there's a mod that can allow you to drop shit, but like, do you see what I mean here, right? It's, when you play Half-Life 2, it is a completely different experience, because not only is everything already packaged in there for you, so you don't have to go do tinkering, I don't need other mods or anything like that, it is already ready and preset to go, right? Okay, can we all agree with that? That's what I mean. It's the same reason why in like fucking Minecraft they have like counter block or block strike or whatever the fuck, where they have the same spray patterns and, you know, yeah, you know, they got the economy and all the stuff, like you can buy weapons and whatnot, but it will always be inferior to the version that I'm talking about. Same thing happens with Overcharged. Look, I understand the options is not as specific as it should be, and there's a lot of tinkering you gotta do, but it's already in there. I don't have to keep closing the game. I don't have to go to the fucking stupid-ass workshop and look at like a ton of other dumb shit. It's already there, and it's pre-packaged right for you. And it's up to you to go actually, you know, decide how you want to play it. I shouldn't have to go be like this game master, but also the player at the same time. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? That's the reason why it just doesn't make sense to have that opinion of, ooh, Garry's Mod shit, but then you're playing Half-Life 2, you know? Alright, now we're on to this fucker's video, which is just a whole can of dog shit. So, let's fucking start this. Honest to God, I was sitting here and I was like, ooh boy, I can't wait to just rip and tear into this fucker. But, not gonna lie, what do I say to this? So before I make my big fucking announcement here, right? My big little shocking discovery. Let me just quickly go over what basically happens in the 10 minutes, right? The first 10 minutes of this fucking video. So he starts off very just snarky, very just like, it's almost condescending kind of. But he gets off the train, he notices that, you know, there's like depth of field, which I do agree with him. Yeah, why the fuck does depth of field... Which, yeah, I agree with him. Why the fuck does depth of field fucking exist in video games? I don't even understand why they're in any video game whatsoever. Anyway, he gets off there. He then tries to go look in the options menu to go try and turn it off, and then claims that it's the most, you know, the most incomprehensible mod menu he's ever seen, which, yeah, that's fucking funny. And then he slides everything all the way up and, you know, tries to go make a huge joke out of it. Ha ha ha, wow, could you see how stupid this is?
This is exactly what Half-Life 2 needed right here. Wasn't enough bloom or static.
And it's like, dude, I'm sorry, but this one's on you. If when you install a new fucking game, it already has a default settings that are equipped or to go like be set to your hardware. Even before the anniversary update, Half-Life 2 had that, and it, for some reason, even on my hardware, and I have a really good fucking PC, it would do 800 by 600 window resolution, everything on low. You know, so I don't know what this fucker's complaining about. Anyway, so he jumps off the roof and then says,
Jolly, why? I had to do something to make this interesting, alright? I had to do something to make this fucking interesting. We're like 15 minutes in, and they've made like one change, and 50 bugs appear. This isn't exactly what I'd call entertaining.
And then after that, not only a minute later, then he finally gets to the content, and then he gets super confused about all these changes that happen.
Fire mode? Automatic? How do I change the fire mode? What? Oh, I have night vision? Oh, no! No!
And then finally, he gets his first fucking weapon and then says this.
Yeah, okay, they've retextured the crowbar. That's the problem with Half-Life 2. That was one of my main problems with Half-Life 2. The crowbar texture just wasn't good enough.
Funny guy! Right here!
And it's like I could go more and more. But the thing is that this guy, I don't think he's doing it seriously, and I just think he's just being a dickhead for like no reason. Now, my big revelation here is this. I only watched 10 minutes of the video. I couldn't sit. I couldn't sit here and watch it. This is actually a shitty, like, fucking video. I'm sorry. But that's not the only part, okay? Let me critique this. My biggest beef with this dude's video is the fact that, so look at the title, right? The best way to ruin a great game, Half-Life 2 Overcharged. And he says, is possibly the best worst mod I've ever played in the fucking video, the beginning of the video, and then says, no, I will not explain what that means. First of all, if you're like me, this means two different things. He means this is the best way to ruin a great thing in like such a completely different thing towards its own creation, a beautiful creation. Or the way I took it, and a lot of other people took it, was that you completely ruined a great game and how fucking dare you. And what proves this, right? If you scroll down, it says edit. Just to be clear, I do honestly think Overcharge is some good ideas and a lot of effort put into it. But I really do think it's a perfect example of just because you can doesn't mean you should. And feature creep. What the fuck? Feature creep? What the fuck does that even mean? I've heard of power creeping, but what the fuck is feature creeping? What kind of retarded idea is this? Remember how he says that this is the best worst game? This is how you ruin a great game? Well, that's very ironic, don't you think? It's very ironic because let me show you my first example here. The Heart of Evil Napalm Edition. This is a mod for the original Half-Life, and if you couldn't tell by the title, it has to do with the Vietnam War. When you play through this mod's just like a journey in of itself. The thing we gotta go talk about this mod is that he says, remember, he's saying here that Overcharge completely ruins Half-Life 2 and everything about it. But what's really funny is that this Heart of Evil mod, they are racist literally by saying that the Vietnamese people eat fucking dog kibble and dog pate. They have homophobic undertones with certain characters.
Going for. You can just go ahead and dispose of them, boys. And come back and dispose of me, if you know what I mean.
And on top of that, they're just completely disrespectful to the entire Vietnamese war. Now, hold on, okay? Let me take a word out of the mouth of a guy that said this to a previous video. You know, the term moral fagging. Now, I don't believe this about what I just necessarily said about the Heart of Evil. I think the mod overall is actually pretty funny, and I mean, hey, if that's what you want to do for just another joke mod, hey, go right ahead. But let me ask you something here. How does a mod that just adds a couple weapons, a couple enemies that were already in the Half-Life games to begin with, how does that ruin a supposed really good game when this Heart of Evil completely is quite literally insulting? And I mean, sure, it may be a joke, but it's insulting nonetheless, and it does all these things to the original Half-Life, but that doesn't ruin it? It doesn't make any fucking sense. There's just so much here that I just don't understand from Jolly's perspective, and it's just so mind-boggling. And you know the crazier part? The sweet cherry on top. He says from that comment, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I'm losing it! What a fucking retarded statement. What an actual asinine, just what the fuck does this even mean? Pardon me, critical here. Let me take that little saying you love so much, but what a nothing burger of a fucking statement. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Holy shit, what a crazy fucking take. Let me ask you something. Did Heart of Evil, they had the ability to make the mod, and they did. Did they have to? No. Here, let's take a look at another thing you reviewed. Nightmare House 2. They could have just left it with just not the first Nightmare House, but then they went out of their way to make a second one. Did they need to? No. Oh, and here's another one. Here's the final one, right? Watching paint dry, a mod where you're just continuously doing the same fucking thing to go unlock these little secrets, little continuation levels, all that. Did they need to go make this mod that kind of literally is like watching paint dry, because you just have to go pray to God that the fucking streamer in question is actually smart enough to go figure out these fucking puzzles. But no, they didn't. And lastly, let me hit you with the truth. Did you have to go make a review on this mod? Did you really have to go give your 2 cents on this when, to be honest, I don't understand why the fuck this entire, 50-minute long video, you're just kind of, ripping into it for really minuscule reasons? Alright, and then that was it. That was the last bit of the video. You might have noticed that the ending bit didn't have as many, visual elements to it, and that's because, that was pretty much right when I found out that all that stuff with the mod. Again, I already got most of it done, and I kind of don't have much of the motivation to go add those little bits, those little elements, all that. But I just want to say this now that you saw the full video. Again, the idea of Overcharged and the content in there, I do genuinely enjoy. However, while I understand that radiation hazard video is older, and same with the fucking jolly wanker retard. Yeah, I get it. That's older as well, and I am attacking their older opinions, which may have changed or evolved or whatever. But I still want to go make it important to say I'm kind of looking at it through a lens, and at the same time, I'm going back to my opinion of what I had back then and doing it now, because it hasn't really changed besides what just came out fucking tonight. So I still do think the radiation hazard video, the new one, that is genuinely something to look at. I think the old one did have problems, as you fucking saw here. I think it's shit. I think this I think the Jolly Wanker video is overall terrible as well, and I can't wait for him to go put out another fucking hour video of the, ooh, I got my hands on the Rare 2.0, and then it's going to be equally as dog shit. But other than that, yeah, to the devs, go fuck yourself. I don't know why you did this. I think you people are fucking stupid. And I weep every day, because we will never, ever in a million fucking years get a mod like this, and it kind of upsets me.